Yo. Welcome to another episode of day one, you're here.
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of WAVorMP3 podcast. I am your co-host, the Council Poly Rob. I'm here with my super producer, co-host, Day One. Shouts out. And we got a special guest for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already see him in the screen, but we're honored today to have another super producer, and whether he calls himself that right now or not, he is. We got Sndtrak in the building, man.
In the building,
man. What's going down, man? How you feeling?
Peace. What's going on? I'm chilling, man. You know, trying to bring in this new year right. You know,
listen. That's the only way we can. And for those that don't know, I mean, regardless of when we're gonna drop this podcast, this is being recorded before 2024. I'm talking about literally a couple hours.
Hours.
To it. Literally. You know what I mean? And that just shows a level of we really get to it no matter what. We don't give a shit what holiday is going on. Right. We gonna get right to it. You know what I mean? And it's funny because we were just talking briefly, you know, offline, just about, number one, sometimes being under the weather because you're going long hours. Is that how you got to that point, Sndtrak, in terms of like right now, like just kind of having the?
I mean, I've been running around. I just got back from LA. I was in LA from like 3 to 4 weeks. I was doing some things over at TDE, working with a couple of them cats. Just making the rounds. You know what I'm saying? And I got back home, and I was still on the go. And today my body said, "Sit your ass down."
Slow down. It's time to slow down.
Slow down. Slow down, man.
That body shutdown thing, that's a real thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some days I'll be in the studio and it's like I might be recording somebody. We kind of on our like 4th hour, and it's like an 8-hour session, and I can feel it. I can feel that, like, okay, if I stand idle a little bit too much, I'm finna doze off. Yeah, that's when you know it's like, man, after this session, it's a wrap. It's done.
So it's over.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, but before we get into it, they want you gonna say something?
No.
Well, we definitely want to get to our question of the day before we start anything else. And this is kind of like the origin of how me and Day One put together the show, and just you know, it's an important question for guys like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the question is, Wave, and we're asking you this, Sndtrak, Wave or MP3? Choose which one and choose why. There is no demographic, or there's no reasoning for it, just whatever your reason is.
I mean, I'm gonna always go Wave, just because quality. I've always been that. I mean, it's a tricky question though, because I grew up on MP3s.
Right.
So I was born in 1990. All right. So if you do the math, whatever, you can figure out my age. But, I grew up in the Napster era. You know what I'm saying? All of that, so I
LimeWire, BearShare.
Yeah.
Kazam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kazam. Right.
Yeah. But I had like my first portable player was like an MP3 player. Like whatever I used to download off of Napster, I would put on my MP3 player, and I could only have like 10 MP3s.
Yeah, at a time, right?
And that was like before iPod, before all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna still go Wave though.
Okay.
Just cause for workflow and like quality, and my DAW. Mainly is my DAW. So, there are certain DAWs that allow you to use MP3.
Yeah.
My DAW does not. It's either AIFF or it's Wave.
Or Wave. Ain't no in between.
No in between. So even when niggas send me MP3s, like if they send me an acapella, or they send me something like, yo, send me the Wave.
Right.
I get frustrated every single time because I'm like, damn, I gotta convert this shit. It's just an extra step I gotta do.
Yeah, you have
to. I'm just trying to get to work and make it quick and fast, but
Yeah. And then also at the same time, it's like sometimes we gotta realize that we're dealing with artists and different people who have no intention of carrying any equipment for no reason.
No reason, yeah.
They go in the studio, do their thing, leave the studio and go right back to their regular life or whatever they's on.
That's
Right.
facts. That's
Yeah.
facts. That's
What
facts.
about you, Day One? Wave MP3. I didn't ask you yet.
I'm gonna go Wave because, like you said, the quality. Like, both of them are very important. We need MP3s because when we trying to send beat packs, it's hard to send Wave beat packs.
That part, I forgot that.
You know what I mean? So they're both very important and both very needed. But if I had to choose, like if I'm bouncing my record down, I'm bouncing down the Wave. I'm taking that first, and then I'll make an MP3 later. But I'm not just going straight MP3 bypassing the Wave ever. I'm never doing that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Wave for me.
No, I believe. Okay. First off, I'm agreeing with y'all. That's my answer. But for this show, I'm gonna go the other way.
Why?
I'm gonna go the other way for this show.
Why?
I'm picking MP3. You know why? Because I come from the era where my equipment just couldn't hold all the waves. I didn't have enough hard drive space. I had to bounce everything down to MP3 in order to even save my shit.
Wow.
So I'm going to MP3, and then also I want to give a shout out to iPhone because iPhone has revolutionized. Yes, I will say it. They've revolutionized the organization of your projects in your phone and being able to send music just through the text, still at the same quality. It's a beautiful thing. Listen, especially when it's like, I meet this artist I want to work with. Yo, let's exchange information. Boom, boom, boom. We might be in a club somewhere or at a networking event. And he like, man, send me some beats. Guess what I'm finna go do? I'm finna go in the bathroom real quick, and I'm finna put the phone in my ear. I'm gonna send some beats right then and there.
That's funny.
Right then and there.
You know what's funny?
Convenient. Why not?
I got a story about that. One time, me and G Perico was talking. He's like, "Day One, text me some beats." And I was like, bro, I'm on an Android. I can't text you no beats. You better give me your email address. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's a real
funny.
thing. That's a real thing. Like artists be like, text me beats. You know what I'm saying?
Text me beats.
I come from the convenience. Well, I wouldn't even say the convenience, the improvision era. Like me having to figure shit out. Yeah. So I'm gonna take MP3 in this case right now. I'm gonna take that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Man, so Sndtrak, man, I've had the privilege of listening to a lot of great music that you have put together.
Appreciate it.
I've also had a privilege of hearing your name in various conversations with great people, and still not being able to meet you yet. So, which is always a good thing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do want you to tell the people just, where you come from, how did you kind of get started in the producing game, and just, start. Let's just start.
We need that origin story. What's Sndtrak's origin story?
Well, my origin is from East Oakland, California.
Okay, East Side O. Okay,
East Side O specifically.
I did not know that.
He said I did not know that. Okay,
yeah.
Way.
Yeah. So, born and raised out here in the Bay. Which I'm still at currently. I mean, I'm back and forth to LA.
Yeah.
But, I started off in high school, man. I was messing around on Fruity Loops with the homies. This is like 2000s, right? Everybody's got a crack version of Fruity at this time,
For
right?
Sure.
So, we start making beats because I was rapping at first. So we would all make beats and we would all pick the best beat to rap on. So I took it. I'm competitive. So I took it as a competition. I'm like, okay, well, next time I come to the lab, they're going to rap on my shit. So let me go back and sharpen my sword a little bit. So it ended up turning into like, I want to just play the back role. I don't want to rap. I don't want to be in front. Like I took a liking to production more.
Right.
So with that comes it comes with me, digging for records, right? So I started digging, getting into vinyl and shit because I started to realize like all my favorite songs like were samples. Like my pops used to like put people on blast. Like he'd be like, "Oh man, that's just that's M2 mate, that's Juicy Fruit." When Biggie would come on, like and I didn't understand at the time because I'm like, "Oh, Pops just hating."
My dad would do the same thing.
Pops don't know what he's talking about. He just hating. So, but Pops would play a lot of old school for me. So that's where the soul and all that stuff comes from. So
Okay.
I would dig for records, like for soul records, for R&B joints, jazz. Then I started to get into jazz and rock and different genres and stuff like that.
Nice.
But I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't really take production too serious until like later, probably in the 2010s, maybe like early 2010s. I met this cat from Oakland. He goes by the name of GQ. He was on this label, Jamla Records. And I met him through a mutual friend. My homie would come to my crib because I was heavy into sneakers. So me and him would trade sneakers. I would sell him kicks and stuff like that. And he was like, "Yo, what you doing with all these records on the wall?" So I went from Fruity Loops to MPC. I went and bought an MPC 3000, which I still own to this day.
Okay,
let's go.
And
okay.
I went backwards. I started chopping up stuff. I'm like, yo, I want to experience how they did it back in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that was big for me at that time, like to go through that process, because all my favorite records have samples. So I pressed play for him and he was like, yo, I got to call the homie. I'm going to introduce you to the homie. So Q came to my crib the next day and he's like, man, you want to go to the studio? So this is like a domino effect. Like each day I'm meeting this guy, then we go into the studio and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. It's all new for me. Yeah. So one time, I think fast forward, maybe 6 months later, he's like, hey, I want to take a trip with y'all. It was me and a group of some of the homies. He was like, yo, I want to take y'all to North Carolina to meet Ninth Wonder. And I was like, oh.
Fine. Shout out to
I was like, and for me, shout out to Big Bro Knife.
Right.
It's like, I had been listening to Little Brother since high school. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Early 2000s, they came out with the listening, the Mr. Show, all the mixtape shit, Chitlin Circuit, and I was heavy into Little Brother, because he was like, of that lineage that I like the Pete Rocks, the Dilla, the Mad Libs, the Dre's, the Q-Tips, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on. And so that's how I got involved with them. I went out there. It was just casual, you know what I mean? Like in the studio, fly on the wall, you know what I mean? He would tell me stories about how he got to Pete Rock's basement, you know what I mean? Because he sat on the couch, like literally like 2 feet away from me, and I was like, big dog, I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm trying not to fan out right now, bro. How do you not fan out in front of your heroes?
Right. Facts.
And he told me about the time that he was in Pete Rock's basement. Like, Pete Rock had him come over the crib and all of that. And he was like, yo, it's a reason that you're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think you're not worthy of being in these, in this room.
Right.
And that's where my journey kind of started. That's where I started to take production like more seriously.
That's deep.
That's crazy.
And then fast forward, years go by. I'm just putting in work. I'm working with Jamla artists. Like, I had, played some stuff for Rhapsody at the time. Like,
shout out
Young
to
Cat. Shout out to Rhapsody. Her album is on the way.
Oh, I know. I know.
It's coming.
I know.
Ruben Vincent was around at the time.
Okay.
Ruben was young. Ruben was like 13, 14 coming to the studio. I seen him at that stage.
Wow.
And we were just all in the studio, just working, just chilling. Like I was just in there making beats. I would go back and forth. It would become an annual thing. I would fly to NC every year. It was like my trip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how people take a vacation. That was my vacation.
Right.
So I would just hang out in the studio for like a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, come back home. And yeah, man, I was just a student, you know what I'm saying? Still a student to this day,
Yeah. I heard about just Jamla and their process of like recording and putting together records, and even like production, like because you guys have like a collection of producers, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off because I didn't get to that point. But yeah, I am a part of the Soul Council, and the Soul Council consists of it's about 8 or 9 of us.
Nice.
Ninth, it's Knots, it's Crisis, Eric G, E Jones, Cash, Amp. And I'm the last one on the Soul Council.
I got a chance to meet E through my guy Bad Luck. So we had a studio in Mid-City LA at the time. and Local Astronaut Studio, and E. Jones was in town with Rhapsody. So Luck was already there. So Luck was like, yo, you want E and Rap to come through? I'm like, hell yeah, like what you mean? Pull up. And you know, like how our studio was, like, you know, it was a studio where we got to work, but it was also just like a great hub for people to just come by and just, you know, talk shit, have conversations. We did podcasts, we did a whole bunch of stuff. Right. So when they came by, we actually had Howlin' Rays. It's a chicken spot out here.
Oh, I know Howlin' Rays.
Oh yeah, listen.
Yeah, I know about,
so we had the owner of Howlin' Rays come bring some food through. He just brought like just bags of just, oh my goodness, so much goodness.
So much goodness.
So crazy. Right. Listen, they got the best chicken sandwich in the world.
Yes, they do.
I don't care. Wow. Listen. So they brought that. We just all had a good time. We just had a great conversation, just about music, good energy, and stuff like that. And E is a real good dude, man, real good dude. And it's funny because I didn't know that he produced at that time. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I just knew him for what knew of him for you know, really being good at managing different elements and things like that. You know what I mean? I didn't know he produced until he got back on the plane. I'm like, oh, he beats crazy. You know what I mean? But good dude, man, good dude. And then also you know, I met Crisis as well. Crisis, good dude. Phenomenal producer, man. You know, just, y'all be doing y'all thing, like even y'all compilations or whatnot, you know, the Jamla compilations, like y'all be doing y'all shit, you know what I'm saying? But you have a very unique style of chopping samples. Explain that, because first off, I didn't know you was from the Bay, so it's not shocking.
Look at Rob is still tripping. Look at Potty Rob.
You gotta explain. You gotta explain. See, I'm from Brooklyn, so it's like
he a West Coast nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? He a West Coast nigga, right? Man.
No. But listen, no, it's no shade to nothing, but it's like
I know
there's certain places where when you understand like a level of certain styles of making beats, you know, you reference. You kind of listen to it and you kind of reference where you think somebody might be from. I was way the fuck off. I was way off. I'm just gonna be honest. But but when you said that, East Oakland, it makes sense because a lot of the people that I know from the Bay, they study their music to the T, and they have a natural musical sense about how they indulge music.
Let me ask you this: where did you assume he was from?
Okay, so
I'm just curious.
So Virginia was one. Virginia was one.
Okay.
Virginia. I thought you was from the Carolina, the South Carolina, North Carolina type of thing. Yeah. And I thought you might be from Queens because the way you look, I just thought you might be from Queens.
He looked like a Queens kind of guy. All right.
No, but okay. The same way he don't look like a Queens kind of guy, but you know the same way we was talking about beats the other episode.
Yeah.
I picked a throw off type of town, and I was way off. I'm not gonna lie, I was way off. That's
that's
sure.
crazy.
Yeah. But I do want to hear just your energy of how you chop samples, because when you hear how you do it, it's almost like you taking the sample. It sounds totally different from what originally is there. So I want to hear what goes through your brain when you're picking the sample. You about to go, about to do your thing.
Man, listen, I couldn't even explain it. It's just feeling. It's always feeling like, you know how when you dig and you find this record, or something that you ain't never heard in your life, and you drop that needle, and it brings out some type of emotion or some type of feeling. Like that's what I go off. It could be rare, it could be the most common record in the world. You know what I mean? Like I go off a feeling. However it makes me feel in that moment, that's what I cling to.
Right.
And that's fresh.
Me, my battle a lot of records, right, already. So how do I reimagine something that's been done over 100 times? Like, I think Nautilus has probably been sampled like over 300 times, like documented. Like on Who Sampled, like, over 300 times, like Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves the Sunshine, like all these classic joints, Michael Jackson, all these, they've been done dozens, like hundreds of times over and over again. So how do I reintroduce it and make it like refreshing to people? Like that is my goal. So it's a bit of both. I take it as like a challenge. Like for me, it's like, all right, I like this, but how can I approach it? And everybody's approach to sampling, right? So of course, you got the North Carolina boys, you got the VA boys. Shout out to Knots, shout out to Bink. You know what I mean? Like, and listening to them earlier too is also like a big, for me, that was a big inspiration because I was hearing the stuff that Knots was doing for Busta. I was hearing the stuff that Bink was doing, with Jay-Z and everybody at that time. And like, I kind of like, again, I study, you know what I mean? So I kind of take and adopt different styles, but still try and like put my thing to it, like put my own spin on it,
Right.
But yeah, that's really it. That's the only way I can explain it. I just don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
What makes you, because the Soul Council consists of a couple of you guys, and when you guys are working on projects, let's say hypothetically you're Ruben Vincent, let's say you guys are working on this album or his project. Number one, what do you feel like you bring to the Sonics or the Soul Council that differentiates you from everyone else? And then number two, like how do you approach when you give beats to the artist? Like, does it go through a channel that you guys listen first, or is it directly to the artist? Like, how does that process work?
I mean, shit, I do the same as you. I text niggas beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when we work on albums and stuff, it just depends on, what they call for, like what mode are they in? Like what are they trying to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? It's random. I'll be honest. Like sometimes I send a pack randomly, like, they go on blind and just pick whatever they like. And then if they pick something, then I kind of feed off of that. Like, okay, maybe he picked a certain beat or she picked a certain beat for a specific reason. So let me go back in the lab and maybe try and make some more in that vein. But for me, I think what I introduce, and everybody in the group is amazing, right? Everybody in the Soul Council is phenomenal at what they do. I think I just have, when it comes to samples and chopping and making beats, I just have a different ear because my palette is a little wider. You know what I mean? Like I could flip a sample 10 different ways. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna stick to just one thing. It just depends on what what it entails for the artist. Like where are they at? Like how do they sound? Because I could flip the same sample for 3 different artists, 3 different ways. You know what I mean? Because I try and like tailor make my stuff for people. That's very important because not everybody is going to hear it the same way. You know what I mean? Like I've even gotten in rooms where somebody's like, oh, hey, I like what you did with this sample, but let's maybe like work and switch the drums. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun for me. You know what I'm saying? That's where the producer hat comes up. And, you know what I mean? The producer part comes into play. But yeah, I hope I answered the question.
No, you definitely did, and I love that part. Like Day can attest to this. Like there have been times where we're working on a record, and then I'll call Day and be like, "Yo, Day, I need some keys. I need you to come add that sauce over the top." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He'll pull up, do his thing, add that element. Then vice versa, I might come and add some drums or chop some things up, or even just kind of arrange the song. That might just be a thing. And people don't realize, like, you don't have to be the only producer to be a part of the record or the project. You know what I mean? Like, like sometimes you walk in the room to play a role. Sometimes you walk in the room to be Ray Allen.
Yeah, you know sometimes you got to just get that assist up.
Right. So sometimes you walk in the room to bang the boards. You know what I'm saying? Like I've also been in studios where it's like, not, hey, Rob, I need you to work the patch bay. Got you.
Right.
Got you. Because I already know it's a pain, especially when you're trying to run compressors and shit like that. Like it's an important thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Yeah,
I see those Yamaha HS5s in the background right there.
Yeah.
So with that, right there,
eights.
Oh, you got the eights. Okay.
Eights. They look small. They look small because I'm far away.
Okay.
Far away.
So for next time,
man.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this is just a very like minimal, like bare bones setup. I ain't even got no sub in here, like no nothing. So
nothing. Yeah.
In my opinion,
those are the best
setups.
Yeah, those are the best
to produce in, because same thing for me. In my house, I have a clear desk, and I make sure it's clear unless it's a candle to like the top left hand side, because I like burning candles. And I got my Yamaha HS. I actually got 5s, but I have 8s in the studio. And that's what I do to produce right there, because you never know. You just gotta cook. I might be cooking some food for my kids, and I'm cooking the beat at the same time. You know what I mean? Same exact time for sure.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Track. What DAW are you using? What are you creating?
I'm on Machine, which is by Native Instruments.
Okay. All right. Another NI. All right,
let's go.
All right. We on the same page. We all in the same thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have.
Why? Now let me ask you why.
Oh, well, I mean, Ninth. I mean, I got it. I adopted it from the Soul Council, man. They got me on Native, so I kind of stuck with it. But I've been exploring. Like I do Pro Tools a little bit. Ableton, I've been on Ableton a lot more since I've been going to LA, because a lot of people have been on Ableton. Like that's just
a lot of people in LA. A lot of people in LA are on Ableton. I'm on Machine. I got Rob on Machine. Machine. I was one of the first guys on Machine. And I remember convincing Rob, like, bro, you gotta come try his Native Instruments. Like, bro, come try. I'm telling you, come try it. He was on.
What were you on, Rob? I was on Reasons at the time, and he got me on Machine. The workflow was just so magical. You could do so much with it. Like, and I think it's for me. It's like the first piece of hardware. Like, just for me, that if I wanted to position myself to be on some gritty hip hop shit, I could do it. But then if I want to lighten up and be on some pop, EDM, house, the tools are still there. I can play around with it with so many ways. You know what I mean? And then for me, like, like I tell people all the time, like my workflow for making beats usually doesn't just stop in the machine, because sometimes I have to I'll make majority of the beat there, song mode it, put it out, and then put it in the Pro Tools. We'll have to add a couple of extra instruments, have somebody come through, add piano, somebody with a violin, so it doesn't just stop there. But Native Instruments, they be having some shit, and we just got the complete 14, so I'm finna go stupid, especially with like doing a lot of TV and film stuff. Like, I gotta go crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but aside of the Native Instruments, I would love for you to go through the list of the first piece of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
All the way down to we got the end. We got the end already. We got the end already. But I would love to go to the first piece of equipment, whether it's DAW or just MIDI controllers, keyboards, drum machines, things like that. So let's start from the first one.
Yeah.
Well, it's tricky because it wasn't technically like mine. I always tell people I start on Fruity.
That's fine. That's fine too.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
But my homie used to stay down the street from me. He had a Casio keyboard, and we used to make beats on his Casio.
Yeah, that count. That count for sure.
Yeah. So it was that, then to Fruity, then to Machines / Pro Tools, and that's kind of where I'm at now. I've messed around on other DAWs. I've messed around on Ableton and Logic, but I mean, Machine is where my heart is. So I'm on Machine.
Tight.
No, I agree. And then also, like, okay, so for your Casio keyboard, what was your transfer process to make the beat on Casio? How did you get it onto tape?
Yeah, what did you put it on?
Well, again, it wasn't my keyboard. So the homie, like, he would just make shit on the keyboard. I would just go to the house and go to the crib and do that. And we was just like fucking around. Like, we was just messing around. We was young as hell. So it wasn't like serious. I wasn't in the studio recording. I'm talking like this is when I was like maybe like 10 or so. Like maybe even in my teens a little bit. Like it wasn't that serious, until I got to Fruity. When I got to Fruity Loops, that's when I started going to the studio and actually working and things like that. But yeah, then I went back and I did the MPC. But for the MPC, like, I used to have to track out, right? So MPC has 8 outs. Yeah, so I would track into Pro Tools, into a session in Pro Tools, and then do my edits on the beats, and then bounce them down and make my batches. So that process was a little more extensive when I was on MPC.
Man, the MPC transfer with having to track each stem out and like record each one in real time. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was work.
I do have a question about that because I've been in that same process too.
Yeah.
So now, now we have the ability of sending out MP3s whenever we want. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to files, in most of the DAWs that we have now, exporting the stems is not a problem. It's really just consolidating the waves and whatnot, exporting on Pro Tools, or even like in Native Instruments, it's literally click of a button, you export the whole stems. But my question is, in that time that you were exporting stems in real time, what were the things or what were the things that the artist had to say or do before you started that process of exporting the stems? Did they have to pay you your full balance in money? Did you have to have a clear understanding of yo, I'm using this song? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what had to happen for you to say, what? I'm gonna export the stems.
Yeah, I mean, it was that. I mean, but I'll be honest, I was already bouncing everything down to Pro Tools, like, individually, to get the beat. Like, I would just do it just off the back, but I would send them the MP3. Okay. So I already had sessions with stems from all the beats that I made and all of that. But it would have to be a clear understanding, like, oh, hey, we got a song to this. We need stems for it or whatever. It depends on who it was. If we had a little agreement, okay, whatever. I'll send you the stems. But if it's somebody like outside of the camp, they gotta break bread. They gotta,
100%.
Gotta make sure nigga get taken care of.
100%.
Right.
That's and then for me too, a lot of people don't realize, like, getting stems, I'm very particular about that because some niggas will take your fucking
and change it
and change the whole shit without saying nothing to you.
Oh my god!
And then it'll come out and
you be like, I hate it. What is this?
What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god!
Why did you like that? People don't understand. Like, this is our art.
Right.
Like, you don't buy a painting and change it because you don't like the color in the background. Like,
exactly.
You buy it as is and you hang that motherfucker up on the wall.
And
like,
let's say if
I don't operate like that.
Right. And let's say that there's a opportunity for, because there's some cases where you'll get a beat from somebody, you'll get the stems, and then based on who's gonna do the final mixing or whatever, sometimes things might get adjusted based on whatever the mix is, or sometimes they might just be like, you know what, I want to play something on top of it. I understand that, but to not communicate that, your process of what you're going to do, how you put together your albums or your records. So please notify me and let me know what's going on, because when it comes to the splits, if I give you all the stems and the record is as is, when I send it to you, I don't want to hear no shit like, oh
You
man, I added this other pianist in there,
man,
so we gonna cut your shit down.
Yeah,
none of that.
Bruh. Yeah, we all done been there. Matter of fact, just with Sndtrak saying that brought up some trauma for me, and I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? It like brought that shit back up.
You want to talk about it?
Hey, but my thing is though, even with that, they don't do that to everybody, and I'll just leave it at that.
That's a fact.
If you get a beat from nigga Dr. Dre or
better leave it alone.
You're not touching Dre shit.
Nah, you're not.
Be honest,
he won't clear
it.
He won't clear it.
He won't allow it. He's not allowed. But people don't understand that the way. And my homie just sent me something on Instagram. It was talking about how like beats are like intellectual property for us.
Right. Yeah,
for you adjusting or changing something in our beat, you can get sued.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All these niggas changing shit in the beats, like after they get the stems or whatever, like doing little small adjustments without your knowledge, you can sue them.
Yeah, and without your clearance, because they still got to send it back and be like, "Yo, do you approve?"
They have to send it back to see if you approve. But again, bro, I think that's just a little ego. That's cats got big ego. They think they doing shit, and they like, oh man, who is this nigga? What they don't understand is that if you send something back, I may have a bigger or better vision for your song.
Right.
But you feel like you got it under control and you want to do everything. It's again what we were talking about. People want to do everything. You can't do everything. You got to hand it off to other people to assist. Like,
it's a relay. Like, it's a relay. We all got to work together.
That's what makes the song much better. That's what makes albums better. Like, that's why I feel like people that are at like the top, they honestly keep their circle small because they have a crew and a team of people that have this common understanding of how do we get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody plays their part. Everybody can't be the fucking quarterback, dog.
Right.
Like on the team, like there's no team if everybody's trying to be quarterback. Like let people play their positions and don't overstep your position. It's okay. But you got you got to remove your ego and allow the process to be the process. It can't just be about you and your needs and what you want. Like, listen to other people in the studio. They might have a great idea. Like, I'll listen to an engineer or I'll listen to a janitor. If I play a song for a janitor and he like, hey, bro, you should try and switch this around and change that. If I like it, I'm keeping it.
Right.
Sure.
I don't care I don't care who says anything in the room. If it makes the song better, I'm always for that. Right. Always.
Listen, I was always, taught, especially from my colleagues, shout out to Baju, the best records are team records.
Absolutely.
It's team records when people come together. You know what I'm saying? And I can attest to some of my biggest records are team records. It's a collective thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's important. With that being said, I do want to ask you about how do you feel about producer collabs? Like producer and producer come together and we cooking up some things for it. How do you feel about that?
I'm not mad at it, but at the same time, I get to a point where I'm like, all right, if we are working together and we are collabing on something, you gotta be able to do something that I can't do. Like then if we just both flip records and chop records and chop drums, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to bring something to the table or do something that I can't do, have like a certain level of expertise or do something, that is just that that is unheard of to me.
Yeah.
And,
like the
that's
contribution.
just how I feel about that. I'm not mad. Yeah, contribution. I'm not mad at like picking other producers' brains or like coming together. Maybe they like a guy that is doing the same thing as me. Maybe he may be able to help me fix something on the track. Maybe he like, oh man, maybe you should try this drum break or do this or do that. I don't mind that. Like I'll ask niggas that I fuck with, their opinions on beats and stuff like that. But yeah, listen, all for the better of the music. It has to be for the better of the music. Yes. So yeah, you got to be able to just bring something to the table. That's just how I feel.
Good.
How you feel about that, Day?
I agree. I feel like it's pointless if you're a producer and you guys do the same exact thing and there has to be, like you said, there has to be some kind of contribution from both sides to where it's like, oh, that's your flavor, or you added a different flavor that I probably wouldn't have came with, or I didn't even hear that. Like that's what you want when you're doing a record, when you're collabing with another producer. You want to be like, ooh, I didn't even hear that. Ooh, that's sick.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if not, it's just like I might as well do this by myself. So I get exactly where he's coming from. But you need some, sometimes it's always good to bounce ideas off each other. That always helps. You know what I mean? And it has to also, it's the vibe too. It's also the vibe. Like if I vibe with you and I rock out with you, like, man, I trust you. Let me see what you add. Oh, those on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That too. I like that approach too. I do that a lot.
Is that too?
Yeah, for me, I'm more so I look at the idea of like more so how much work can we get done. If I even agree to do a producer collab, I'm already pretty much comfortable with what you do and what you bring to the table. But what I'm really looking for is how much we gonna bang out. We gonna do like 2 beats and that's it. Like come on, man. Let's do an assembly line full of shit. Yo, you got this, you got that, I got this, I got that.
Let's put all this together.
Let's go through it.
Yeah.
Let's go through it because my part is like once we get to that point, okay, now let's sit back, see the batch that we got. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm like in drug dealer mode. Like, who we sending this to?
Right? Who you hear?
That's the purpose. Like, if we're gonna collab on something, let's get it to the people. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I think about when I think about producer collabs. Other than that, like, I have a team of just cats that I work with, of course, with Day One included, and we like rocking. We rock. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I would like to add, it's always good to access each other's like network. So sometimes it's important too. Like I might not have access to the artist that you have access with, and if we're working on something that works for that artist, like phone, hit them up, send it over there. Like that, it helps bridge that gap. Also, like get it over there. Let me send this to Bus. Oh, I think Buster's sound dope on this. Oh, I'm about to send it to him. All that kind of stuff matters. That plays a huge role.
Yeah, and especially with that, like I don't have no problem. Like if you put the link up together in that percentage somewhere, you're in there.
You're in it.
You are in there.
You're in there.
I'm sorry.
For sure.
Only because, man, listen.
It's the play. Like
for sure.
And us as producers, like, we get left out sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes those greatest blessings or those opportunities may not even be from a record that you walk down all the way. It might just be from something that you kind of liaison to whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I keep that in mind for all my fellow, creators and songwriters and things like that. Like if you put the connection together, man, I don't give a shit if it's 1-2%. You got to be a part of this record at some point. Because if you get 1%, you're eligible for at least your certification. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. At least. So you got to give you that. You know what I'm saying? So something along those lines. So yeah, for sure, definitely, man. Go ahead, Dave.
Track. I wanted to know where he got his name from. Where'd your name come from?
Man, listen. I wrote down a bunch of names on a piece of paper.
Really?
And I just did one by one, produced by such and such, produced by such and such. And one of the names I had on there was Sndtrak.
And you was like, you like that ring. You was like,
I like the ring. It's got a ring to it. And then also too, it's very like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like very broad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people know what a soundtrack consists of. And for me, also what made it better is I love movies, right? So I like film scores and I like soundtracks, like like that, like, and I feel like it also adds to like when people want to know about like how my music sounds, like that's the best way to
describe it.
It's big, it's it's full, it's a soundtrack, you know what I mean? Like, and so that's
fire.
Yeah, it's got a few little things, going on. So
that's fire.
That's how it came about that.
Okay. The spelling too, the same way.
Yeah. Well, I had it like regular at first, but I'm like, I kind of want to abbreviate it a little bit, like because I was seeing a lot of names, like, and I know some producers that have like abbreviation in their names. So I kind of bit them a little bit of me. I was like, they ain't gonna trip. You know what I mean? So as long as the name is different,
it is what it is.
You good? You good? Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So that's how they came about.
No, that's fire. I do want to get into the TV and film element.
Okay.
I love, like, I will explain the local astronaut sound with being levels of theatrical, cinematic, things like that. Like even when we worked on this artist named TF, shout out to TF. We worked on his scanner.
Yeah, I know about him. He's hard.
Yeah, he do his thing. We worked on his Scanner Summer 1 and Scanner Summer 2 80s baby. We produced the whole thing. But in those projects, there's a level of cinematic feel to it, and that's how we like to build records. So with that, like talk about some TV or film or soundtrack things that you've been a part of, and then also like what makes that so distinctive in producing artists with that type of sound.
Let's see. So some stuff that I've done. I haven't really worked on any movie things.
Mm-hmm.
I've had like some syncs though. You know what I mean? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Get that money.
Oh, so there's this artist. She's under Death Row. Jane Hancock.
Oh, Jane, fire!
So I did the joint on Algorithm. It's called "I Like My Weed."
And
let's go. And that one I did. That one was sample free. That was me messing around on the keyboard, you know. And we ended up placing that one, and that one gets a lot of love because it doesn't. We don't have to clear anything.
It was easy to clear that one. Yeah,
super easy to clear, man. So I get everything.
That's the number one rule. Don't put no samples on no records for sync. They'll get you out the building fast.
Yeah, they get you out there fast. So we ended up getting a placement. We ended up getting a sync in a pilot. And then I think, potentially got a sync in a movie that's supposed to be coming up soon.
Nice.
The top of next year or something like that. But yeah, man, no, it's been really great. But outside of that, for me, man, when I think about like scores and soundtracks, like of course we got like great composers and stuff, right? Like like Quincy Jones and you know, I mean, one of the new guys. No, he's not new. But he does like all this. Damn, why can't I blanking on his name? He does stuff for like on Interstellar. What's the guy's name, man? I can't think of his name, man. I'm gonna kill myself looking back at the interview. He does very big like score. I think he does stuff for like Star Wars too.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, it's for me. Like I think about like Dre in that aspect, like.
Right.
When he came, like when Chronic in like 2001 came out, like everything was just big. It was in your face. There was like different changes like throughout the beat, like from the verse to the hook to maybe the bridge. Like it just it felt like a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've always like every time I think about music or I listen to albums, like I listen for that specifically. Like if I'm playing something from start to finish, like this needs to feel like a movie. It needs to coast, it needs to climax, come down, like all of that. You know what I mean? So that's really big for me.
Well, were you talking about Hans Zimmer?
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, Hans Geek. Come on, man. Legendary Hans Zimmer.
It's not a game. It's not a game.
Yes.
Fire.
Yeah,
man. I had a brain. Crazy brain fart.
It's all right. He is the one. Like when it's time to do, like you said, the Star Wars, anything that's big sci-fi, theatrical, he come with it.
Dude, John Williams too.
Yeah, John Williams.
Come on.
Like, you know, I love that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a kid watching movies, just like the soundtrack is everything to the movie.
Everything. It means it can make or break the movie.
It could make or break a movie, dude. You know
100%.
If that music is good, you like, ooh, I'm all in this. Like, ooh,
even I forget who did the score for it, but even like He Got Game. Like the symphony in that fucking movie is so crazy, dude. Like the scenes, like even the scene where Denzel and Ray Allen go off on the court. Yo, listen to that. Go back and listen to that.
I'm gonna go back and listen to that.
Listen to the music in that scene, bro. It's insane. You know
I'm gonna go back and listen to that.
I definitely want to watch that again.
I'm gonna go listen to that.
That was an incredible movie.
It's a great film.
Incredible.
Spike Lee. Spike Lee,
yeah.
And I'm like, again, I'm a big fan of producers too. So Spike Lee, you know what I'm saying? Quentin Tarantino. You know that, like, I love movies, man. I love that type of shit. So.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I love. I still love skits and albums. You know what I'm saying? Like, like help me get to that point of whatever this record is supposed to represent. Help me get there.
Get there.
You know, I mean, even if it's like back in the days with Death Row, where it's you fucking on a girl or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, you roll over,
skit,
get on the phone. Hey, what's going on? Why are you not in the studio? Oh man.
It sounds like you right there. It sounds like you in
it. Yeah. Like that's important. What would be your dream movie to do a sync placement or like a score? What would be your dream movie if they said they was coming out with yang, we want you to do it? What would that movie be?
Man, I don't know. That's a tall order. Or whatever it is. I mean, just the idea of like scoring a movie it feels like a lot. Like I'm getting anxiety right now thinking about this shit. I'm like, nigga, that shit goddamn 2 hours, goddamn. I gotta do all the damn music.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, man. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, for me, just because I love it so much, it would probably have to be like maybe like a Friday.
Ooh,
you know, if they came out with like funny Friday,
nice comedy,
nice comedy, because they still have that tinge of like hip hop, right? That like that like pushes the movie, like it's embodied in the movie. Right. So it would probably have to be something like that.
Fresh.
No, that's fine. What about you, Day One? What would that movie be?
Something for me, it had to be something like action packed, like Fast and Furious 12 or whatever number they on right now. I don't know, but something like that, because it's like one of the movies that kind of like embodies all different emotions. You got to give almost every kind of emotion, from love scenes to fight, chase, shootout, running. You know, the cinematic bad guy entrance. So like something kind of like that.
Fact.
Yeah, something like that. Something fun.
That's a fact. For me, I want this specific, and I'm going to get this.
Yeah,
I want the Bond intro. Give me the motherfucking Bond, James Bond intro. Let me get that. Me get that.
Hey,
I'm going crazy. That's an 8-minute record off top.
8-minute record. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I'm still mad at Kanye for doing Diamonds.
Oh,
right. You still mad? You're still mad about that?
I'm still mad at that. I'm like, yo, why did he choose to pick a James Bond? Like, I didn't even think about that. Like at the time, you know.
Yeah, right.
Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah. In the same instance.
Matter of fact, since we on, go ahead, Dylan.
I was gonna ask him, like, what are some of his influences? Like, who inspired you to start making beats? Like, who do you look to? Who inspired you?
I got to give it up to the guy, Jay Dilla, man. Dilla is the reason why I am talking to y'all right now. The reason why I even considered making beats, because I've heard a lot of great music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm born in 1990. I went through the 90s, went to the 2000s, but like when I heard about Dilla, when I got hip to Dilla, which is I was like in high school, it was like early 2000s. I was just floored. I was obsessed. I would go back and listen to whatever he produced, and not knowing that he was doing joints that I had already loved.
Right.
Like he was already attached to a lot of music
stuff
that I had loved.
That you already loved. Yep.
Slum Village.
Yeah.
D'Angelo, Erykah Badu. He's smoking shit.
Yeah. And he was so under the radar, you didn't even know it was all the same guy.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know it was the same dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even like with the whole Common resurgence, you know, when they brought Common back.
Yeah.
Like
it made
a lot of stuff.
him.
Man, so yeah, he's the guy. His
story is a masterclass in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would encourage any young producer
inspiring, to
start from Dilla first.
Start there, because he's the master. He's the master,
right? And he's a collection from all the legendary producers that we love, that we would grow up, like the Marley Marls and the RZAs and stuff like that.
He just embodied
all of that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I would say start from the Book of Dilla, and then you kind of work your way back, and then go forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because my first encounter with Dilla was hearing Slum Village get this money. Right, was my first where I'm like, who are these Detroit dudes? And this is funky. It was just funky, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I grew up on the West Coast tree, so I'm a huge Dr. Dre fan. I grew up on that tree, and Dilla really made me understand. Dilla showed me a way to sample differently than I'd ever experienced before by witnessing what he was doing with samples and how he was sampling and chopping, and not even sometimes his obscure loops and how great they were, and how he could just find those out of almost anything, like plucking them out of thin air. He made me get back into sampling. I used to sample when I first started making beats, then I stopped and went on some like I'm only playing every instrument, and then Dilla came along and I was like, oh, we can do that. Oh, we can do that. He showed me that you can sample the different kind of way.
He gave niggas a blueprint.
Yes,
for sure.
And I'm saying for like every style,
everything,
everything. Like there's people that who have made their careers today based off of like I'm talking like big names.
No, for sure. We know who they are.
We know who they are. They have made their career off this man from Detroit.
Yeah,
from Conant Gardens.
It's real. Yeah. It's real.
It's the craziest story ever.
Man.
Like and it's funny because like I mean I talk to Shoes about him a lot. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Shoes.
Shout out to House Shoes.
Shout out to
Shoes is very pivotal in like releasing like some of my early like instrumental shit. You know what I'm saying? Like under street corner music. He's the one. He found me and was like floored. He was like, bro. He was like, I have not heard anything this amazing since my friend passed away.
Wow.
And that meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? At that time, because that's who I revered. Like that was the guy. He was my North Star. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about him a lot. And he was like, every time his birthday passes, he'll be like, man, it's been 20 years. Niggas still ain't caught up to you. Like he says that shit all the time. And I laugh.
It's the truth.
Right? But it's because it's the truth.
The truth.
It's the truth.
He's still look. I'm gonna give y'all my. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut nobody off.
No. Go ahead.
And I'm still searching for this answer. And maybe someone one day, one of these producer homies we run across, can help me answer this question. But on Donuts, there's one record on Donuts, and I don't know how he does it. And where he flipped the Jackson 5 record, and he slowed it down and brought it back on beat, and like,
yeah.
I'm still like listening to that record to this day, and I'm still like, damn, Dilla he's still teaching me something because I still don't know how he did this.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
I
mean, I know he was doing a lot of donuts and Pro Tools though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
it's no excuse for the way he did that.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dilla, man.
Rest in peace, Dilla. That's all you can say. Rest in peace, Dilla.
Yeah.
Man, while we're on the topic of beats and great beats, I just wanted to just throw in this new segment, man. We got some fun real quick.
All right.
So there's always something over the course of your, fandom of listening to dope music that you listen to a particular song, and the first thing you say is, "Damn, I wish I made this beat. I wish I made this motherfucking beat." Every producer go through it. Yeah. So I want to hear y'all one beat that you feel like, damn it, I wish I just made this beat. One.
Let me think. There was a recent one too.
Even if it's recent, that's cool.
There was a recent one. Oh, I don't even know the name of this record, but it was a Drake and 21 Savage record because I had the sample. It goes, I don't know what the name of that song is.
Saying like that.
It was a single. It was a single off of the album that him and 21 Savage had.
Jimmy Cooks.
Yes, and I had the sample, and I was like, why? I'm like, why I didn't think the sample at the beginning of the song?
Come on, man. We pick it from the library. We pick it from the heavenly library.
Man, that's mine. That was my pick because that was one of the recent ones. That's
Jimmy Cooks
for sure.
Okay, you still thinking of yours?
No, I got mine.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's hear
it. PSA by Jay-Z.
Ooh, PSA.
Can't go wrong with that. Every time it comes on, it's
every time it comes on, you just know it's just it's madness about to happen.
What trips me out? What trips me out about PSA is that Just Blaze was like, you know what? He didn't go sample some obscure like recording of someone talking. That's actually him just doing that voice.
Yeah, that's him doing it. That's a part of his genius.
That's genius. Yeah.
You know he's doing the talking in Breathe too. Fabulous.
Oh, he is
the talking.
Breathe.
Yeah.
That's just.
No, didn't know that.
Crazy.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. That's just.
Crazy.
He's a wizard, man. Like the thing for me though with PSA is the fact that it's just an ill ass loop, and it's got crazy ass like you can't beat that like that. Like my runner up would probably be like Devil in a New Dress.
Because Bink in that chop was fucking
what it turned into.
Yo, Bink went crazy. Yo, when I heard that song, I put that shit on loop, like, and I fell asleep to it, and I woke up listening to it. Like, I think it was on repeat. I think it played like 1,000 times.
Right.
Like and it just dropped. It was so. I love that beat, bro.
That beat is incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, for me it's okay, so it's a record off of Jizz's album from the Wu-Tang called Fourth Chamber. Featuring Ghostface. Fourth Chamber is one for sure.
Okay.
Just the way that they chop that rock into that hip hop drums and the way to transition. And then my second would be it would be damn I was just playing it. Damn it, J Electronica,
Exhibit A.
Exhibit C.
Okay.
C, J Electronica.
Yeah, with
that
Bobby
one right
Stewart.
there. Oh,
yeah. Billy Stewart sample.
There's some drums that do it, man.
That's a good one. That's a good. I forgot about that one.
That's Just Blaze. That's Just Blaze too, huh?
That's Just Blaze. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like I wish I made that because it could also sound like a beautiful R&B record too. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be crazy. So so this,
Man, can I do an honorable mention?
For sure.
Because you brought up J Electronica. It's a record that he did. It's with this group called the New Royales.
Yeah.
With the New Royales.
Yeah.
That DJ Khalil was
working part of. Yep.
Shout out to DJ Khalil, man.
Shout out to DJ Khalil.
Yeah.
One of the illest. He made this beat called Minutes in Moog. It's got a J Electronica verse on it.
Wow.
I swear to God. Yo, that beat is insane. Go listen to it.
I'm gonna listen to it.
Listen, just a couple of days ago, Chase Infinite called me. Him and Doe just called me on the phone, and they just held the phone up, and Chase was playing DJ Khalil just played the riffs and just samples and shit that he just crafted and made. I'm like,
yes.
I'm sitting there like.
Pick up a pack.
So y'all niggas finna send me the shit or what? What y'all gonna do? What's up?
You gotta go downtown, man, and pick up a pack. That
shit sounds so beautiful, man. Shout out to Khalil. I actually I learned a lot from Khalil just listening to his beats, and his drums are
massive.
When you hear that snare,
yeah.
Oh my God.
He's probably got some of the best drums in the game.
For sure. Hands down.
I'll say that without blinking.
For
Him
sure.
and also for me, Siege Monstrosity.
Monstrosity.
Yeah,
Siege has some crazy drums, and he has a crazy ear. Like how he programs drums.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
His bounce is crazy.
It's out of here.
Come on. That's crazy, but that's good for that segment, man. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all probably got a lot of other beats y'all think in your brain, but that's always like a little, you know, just things that producers like us we just go through. You know what I mean? And that also it energizes us to get back in that studio and keep
keep working.
Going, you know what I'm saying? For sure.
Yeah, keep cooking.
You know, I do want to ask, is there any equipment that y'all see right now that y'all don't have that might be enticing, hardware or software? Is this something that you see that's like, you know what, I might need to go pick that up?
Let me think. Thinking about that right now. Hold on. There was something that I wanted to try. Nope, I got that. Hold on. Hey, it was something I was thinking about, and I was like, "Oh, I think I need to try that. I want to see what that looks like." I ain't gonna lie though, I'm gonna try Ableton. I'm gonna try Ableton this year.
Yeah. Ableton is on my list too.
I'm gonna try Ableton this year. I'm gonna give it a try because I can record in it and all of that.
Right.
I'm gonna give Ableton a try, and I can't think of nothing else that I really want to try. I got mostly everything at this point right now. I'm stacked right now. I got too much stuff.
Right. Can you ever have too many sounds?
Hell yeah, you can have especially if it's unorganized. I went through that with reasons.
Like, you could have just too much shit. Like that's the thing. Like that's why I don't really like buy a lot of packs, like drum packs, drum kits.
Like you have too many.
I would want to support the homies, but at a point it's like, dude, I don't need all this shit. I don't. Like your favorite producers use the same shit over and over, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like they used to get on Ninth back in the day, right? Oh, he you know what I mean? But it's like, nigga, this shit worked.
It worked.
And why would I do? Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
It's the truth.
He laughing to the bank.
Right. Hey, all the way. All the way.
But
go ahead. So go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, for me, I am gonna try Ableton. I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I'm probably gonna get into Ableton next year. And then there's this keyboard that two of the homies use. It's called a Chroma. It's a Chroma. It's an analog keyboard. Beat Butcher
with the little knobs on it.
And my man Jake One. They both use the same keyboard.
Jake One.
It's an analog keyboard. It's like an old vintage keyboard. That's really dope. That I'm probably gonna look into getting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, the latest thing I did get was it's a Behringer, a Model D. It's based off of the Moog, the Poly. And yeah, that's probably the last thing I got. I don't really use a lot of analog stuff, but next year I'm gonna focus on getting more analog gear.
That's dope. For me, I think there's like this program is really small. I think it's called the K9 or the KO or something like that. But it just came out. It's like about this big. It's really small. But I've been seeing, like, I actually saw Ski Beats. He remade. He remade Shook Ones on it, but it's fire.
Shout out to Ski, man. That's the big homie.
Shout out to you talking about the calculator?
That little
yeah. It's like a KO or K9 or something like that. But I want to check that out.
It's like KO 33 or something like that.
Right.
One of the homies was telling me about it before it came out. Shout out to the homie. Y'all hip to the Count? Y'all know about the Count?
No, what's that?
Man, crazy cat from Canada, dude. He's crazy on the beats. He does drum kits and stuff like that. Check him out.
Okay, all right.
I think he had a hand in like engineering it or like working with the company to do it. So he sent me a picture of it like a month before it came out. And I still haven't got my hands on it, but it looks crazy.
It looked crazy. And I love compact things that you could just do so much with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It does a lot. Also, shout out to the big homie EA Ski. He has a SP1200 that just came out.
I heard about it.
And it's crazy. He sent me video and footage and pictures of it. Oh my god, it's black and red. It looks killer.
That's hard.
Killer. Him and the dude that owned the company went and made it from scratch. And so
that's hard.
Crazy.
I think he only had about like 200 or something of these made or something.
Okay.
So it's very limited edition, but it's fire.
That's hard.
Yeah, I want to do something crazy to my my MK3. I want to get a new casing or something. I want to get like a crazy ass new casing. I be seeing they have like a couple companies that like make special cases. Yeah, that can design them. Yeah.
You should do that.
Man, we're not gonna keep you long, man, but we do want you to plug the new things that you got coming up and whatever else you want to plug, whatever shout outs you want to give out. And man, you know, we appreciate you being on the show. We appreciate your knowledge and your insight. You know what I mean? Man, plug away.
It's fun, man. It was great. Glad you guys could have me. I don't really got too much stuff coming out. I'm probably working on more like instrumental stuff for this year. I got a tape that's coming out on vinyl. Trying to push that some more. But yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, I got a few, songs that are in the works and stuff like that.
You got some things you can't talk about. I know what that means. I know that language.
Yeah, I know what that means.
I can't talk about.
Yeah. This guy talking about. He was just out here recording with TDE, and now you're like,
I can't really,
So the shit that I can talk about is the Rhapsody album. So I ended up getting a couple joints on the Rhapsody album.
Fire, congrats, bro.
We got this Ruben EP that's supposed to be dropping like at the top of next year.
Okay.
We just waiting on some stuff. I've been back and forth with Guru, talking to him. He's supposed to get some stuff for this record we got, some live. We're getting a sample like remade. It's a sample and stuff. So we're trying to get this choir shit like that. But other than that, is nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, man. That's about it.
I love it.
Yeah, and if y'all want to if people want to copy anything, I do have vinyl and stuff on Street Corner Music. That's streetcornerscm.com. You guys can go cop the Flips, Volume 1 and Volume 2.
There we go.
I got the OG album, my first instrumental. Well, technically, my first pressed on vinyl is it's called "And Then There Was Light." That was my debut project on Street Corner.
Okay.
So yeah, y'all could be out on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's about it for now.
Okay. All right. One last thing. If you could give any young producer any great piece of advice or something that you've learned, what would you give them? Give them a gem.
Man, look, it's going to sound hella corny, but hey, just keep going. It's just, man, it's the thing that people don't understand about this shit is you have music and you got the music business, right? Mm-hmm. Two separate things, man. Mm-hmm. So don't let the music business fuck up your art and taint you. You know what I'm saying? Try and remain yourself, throughout all the bullshit you might deal with, all the ups and downs, all the people that may have ignored you, quote unquote. They may not give you no love or no, you know what I mean? Just head down, bro. Just stay facts. Keep your head in the right place. Preserve, yourself. Preserve what you got into this shit for. You know what I mean? Don't let it, the game change you. That's what I have to say.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Sure. Yeah.
Jules. Man, we appreciate that, man. You already know, man. This is the WAVorMP3 podcast. We have Sndtrak in the building. Make sure y'all go follow him. He got his Instagram right there. You know what I mean? And all the social medias, man. We appreciate everybody showing love. Mm-hmm. This is brought to you by BTSN Pass. Make sure y'all go sign up on the YouTube channel. Go subscribe, like, and this producer shit, man. That's what we do, man. The hell we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We signing off, man. Peace. Work low.
Peace.